everything you need to know about hashtags. I've actually had this conversation with several people in the last few days. Started last week and now we're still talking about it. I find that hashtags are confusing even though they don't have to be. So I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. The reason that I want to speak about this today and share with you a little bit more about how to properly use hashtags is so that you can really understand why we use them. Hashtags are the filing system of the internet. There's a whole lot more to it and a much more complex definition, but I think that that's the best way to help you understand how they work. The average person, the person who doesn't code. Hashtags group together topics or terms in order to share all content related to that topic or term. If you're a little more mature, you might remember the card catalogs at libraries. And I love to define hashtags as the internet card catalog. That reference doesn't always work for everyone, but I remember the days of pulling open the little drawers and looking inside to see where the book that I wanted to find was, or the research material that I was looking for, or whatever. And it's kind of like microfiche, right? Some people know what it is, some people don't. But hashtags are a grouping system. The most efficient way to use a hashtag is to actually do the research. So tagboard.com, and I'll put that in the caption of this when I finish the video, is a great way to see what people are using a specific hashtag for. Now, of course, you can also do this individually on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, but if you want to get a holistic picture of what everyone across all platforms on the web at any given point in time are sharing around a particular hashtag, tagboard.com is free and super easy to use. All you have to do is put the hashtag in and you can see what the conversation is. Why do you want to do that? Because if you don't know what the conversation is and what the connotation is around a particular hashtag, you could end up in a conversation that you don't want your brand associated with. As we've seen, hashtags are very powerful tools for grouping conversations and can be powerful tools of change. I think that it's important to remember what your brand stands for and what conversations you want to be included in. On Instagram, you can use as many hashtags as you want. They say there's a limit, but I haven't really found that. There's a whole bunch of specifics, but in a comment, you can put, I usually say 10 to 15. If you're trying to grow your brand in a certain community, then you can put more of those. Let's say that your brand is primarily focused on motivation, right? But you now are trying to maybe give a little bit more guidance in a different direction or jump into products or something like that. You want to use hashtags on Instagram to connect with the communities that tend to frequent the hashtag conversations. On Twitter, you don't want to use too many hashtags. I can update you guys on the numbers later at a later date, but most recently, the studies that I've seen, 2 to 3 hashtags, good to go. Sometimes on Instagram specifically, and even on Facebook, people use hashtags that don't seem to make any sense. And that's because hashtags are often used by millennials in an ironic way. Tomorrow we'll talk about the rebrand that Hustle got. And I find that that's such an interesting story because depending upon who you're talking to, it's the same as microfiche and card catalogs. The word hustler can be positive or negative. So we'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. Hustle got a rebrand. And when you're tagging on Facebook with hashtags, you actually don't have to use many hashtags, if any. I find for clients that it actually decreases reach in certain instances because of the way Facebook's open graph search works. It's a little bit different than the grouping system is a little bit different than the other networks. So, moral of the story, use hashtags, use them well, see what the conversations truly represent, and determine if you want to be part of it. If you're looking for a popular hashtag, the best way to do that is to check trending topics and use Instagram's Explore feature. There are certain hashtags that are recommended as most popular, and Iconosphere is a great service for that. Tagboard also will help you figure out which hashtags are most relevant to your brand. And I hope that was helpful, and if you have any questions, leave them for me in the comments. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.